All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Monday, December 19th. We got a bunch of games on the NBA slate today. We're going to jump into each game. I'll give you my lean. I'll give you what I'm thinking. We'll talk about the game. But as always, my final plays will be in the pinned comment. We're on a 3-0 streak. We hit 2 a couple nights ago, 2-0, and then we went 1-0 with Knicks money line last night. Guys, if you're looking right now and you don't see a pinned comment or you don't see final plays in the pinned comment, that's just because we're still doing further research and still digging into what our final plays will be. We're getting a lot of comments lately being like, where's the pinned comment? Which is totally fair. I got to do a better job explaining that if there is no pinned comment, it's just because we're still grinding away and trying to find those plays for you guys. But yeah, keep an eye on that pinned comment, guys. That's where the final plays will be. And also, we did hit our ride of the day yesterday. Shout out to Scotty. Jordan Poole, over 24.5 points, guys. Jordan Poole, career high night last night. This is also one of our prize picks plays. Make sure you're checking us out over on TikTok, guys. That's where we're posting all of our prize picks plays. But yeah, guys, if you want to be the ride of the day, just use hashtag ride of the day in the comments, and I'm going to be jumping on board with one person in the comments, guys, and giving you guys a shout out, win or loss, in the next video, depending on whether or not your pick hits. But let's jump into this slate. Like I said, 3-0 streak for us right now. We're being a little conservative, but that's all right, guys. Bankroll management here. We started off with Cleveland -5.5 at home. Total is 222 as they host the Utah Jazz here. These two teams yet to play this season. In their last 10 games, though, Cleveland playing really well straight up at home. 6-1 in their last 7 games at home, but they're 3-1 against the spread. So these spreads, they've had some higher numbers, 6, 7, 8, 8.5. So they're not really hitting those higher numbers here. That being said, I do think that this is a spot for them to capitalize at home. This Utah Jazz team has been up and down, up and down, up and down. Cleveland's coming off 3 straight wins to Dallas, Indiana, and then Dallas again. Now they only covered one of those games, but I'm thinking they come out here and with a little bit of fire under their you-know-what and cover 5.5 points. So I'm going to lean Cleveland here -5.5. They are a good team at home. Against the spread numbers, wouldn't say that as of late, but I think that they get the train on the tracks tonight. I'm going to lean Cleveland here, minus the points. The total, I do think this one could go over here, just marginally, so I'm going to slight lean towards the over 222. Keep an eye on the pinned comment to see if that ends up becoming a final play. Moving on, we got Philly, 7.5 point favorites at home as they host the Raptors here. 221.5 is the total. Raptors coming off of a loss last night to Golden State. And again, that was the Jordan Poole night. No Steph Curry last night, right? Warriors had some injuries to deal with, and they still got the win. A 16-point win over Toronto. Philly coming off of 4 straight wins. LA, the Lakers, Charlotte, Sacramento, and Golden State. A decent amount of talent within those games. So they're starting to turn it on here as they've covered 7 of their last 10 games. This is a very high number here. This graphic, I believe, is slightly out of date as we screenshotted it like an hour ago. But right now we have -7.5. Total is 221.5. So both of these have moved a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and lean Toronto. I think that that's just a lot of points to give. So I'm going to lean Toronto. I don't think this becomes a final play because the way Philly's been playing, they easily could go out there and cover this number, especially with Toronto, being a little inconsistent as of late. I think they've lost 5 or 6 straight, right? And just not been playing really well. So I'm going to lean Philly here, or lean Toronto, but I don't think that becomes a final play. Moving on, we got Orlando, 7.5 point dogs on the road as they travel to Atlanta. Total is at 230 right now here, guys. These two teams played about a week ago, and Atlanta lost to Orlando. 135 to 124 was the total. This Orlando team, I mean, they're beating my Celtics left and right? But they're 7-2-1 in their last 10 games against the spread. No Clint Capella. DeJounte Murray is questionable. John Collins is questionable over here for Atlanta. But I think at least at some point, the wheels have to fall off of this, right? So I'm looking to lean Atlanta, but I don't love laying that number. This Orlando team is keeping games close. So if anything, I'm going to lean Atlanta here, but probably look for some sort of a teaser, 4.5, 5 point teaser to get that Atlanta number down to like 2.5, that type of thing. So keep an eye on the pinned comment to see what we do with that. I want to lean Orlando, but I feel like, at some point, they aren't a good team. Like, we can say that at some point they have to come back down to earth. They've won 6 straight and they've covered 7 straight. They're going absolutely nuclear right now. 7-2-1 again in their last 10. I'm gonna lean Atlanta, but it scares me to do it because this Orlando team is absolutely killing it, and they're so volatile here. And I also like the under 230 in this one. I see that line moving too. You might be able to get it at like 232 if you wait. All right, moving on. Minnesota hosting Dallas. Minnesota getting 3.5 points here at home. Total is 228 in their last 10 games at home. Minnesota, in the last 10 games overall, 5-5 straight up. 5-5 against the spread at home. Their last 4, they're 3-1 against the spread here. But this Dallas team, you know, they do play decent at home, but they actually in the last 5 games on the road, 3-2 against the spread. The over has gone over though. Or the over has hit in 8 of Dallas's last 12 games and 5 of the last 7 in these two teams meetings here. So I'm going to look at this total here, 222.5. A lot of injuries to note on the Dallas side of things. Tim Hardaway Jr., questionable. Spencer Dinwiddie, questionable. Dwight Powell, Davis Bertans, Max Kleber, Luka Doncic, all questionable. Actually, Max Kleber's out. But yeah, you're going to want to keep an eye on the injury report before even jumping into this game because obviously Minnesota has had their issues too. No Karl-Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert is questionable as well. So I like the over regardless of these injuries. But in terms of picking a side here, I don't really have a side to pick because of all these injuries and all the question marks up in the air. OKC 7-point dogs at home here. Total is 228. The Rumble and Cover and Thunder, you know, they are playing decent basketball. Last 10 games, 7-3 against the spread here. At home, they're 3-1 against spread in the last 4. But overall, they're just playing really good basketball. Portland on the other side is also playing good basketball, which makes this a very tough game to pick here. Yusuf Nurkic is probable. That's the only injury update here. Actually, Jeremy Grant just popped up as I refreshed. But no Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, no Josh Giddey, no Darius Baisley. So I'm going to go ahead and lean Portland here. I would love to say, you know what, let's lean OKC, but I don't really trust the Rumble and Cover and Thunder without the Rumble and Cover and Thunder star player, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So without him, I'm going to go ahead and lean on the opposite side of things here. In terms of a total, I like the under 228. All right, Milwaukee 1-point favorites here, taking on the Pelicans. Pelicans are at home. Total is 228 here. These two teams yet to play this season, but Milwaukee's kind of playing well straight up in their last 10, right? 7-3 in their last 10, but against the spread, 4-4-2, and then on the road 1-3-2 in their last 6 here, whereas in their last 6 at home the Pelicans are 4-2. In terms of injuries, Giannis is upgraded to probable, but Chris Middleton, no, he's not playing here. And then for the Pelicans, Brendan Ingram's still out here, and then Larry Nance Jr. is downgraded to doubtful. I think the Bucks get this one done. New Orleans coming off of 3 straight losses. Utah, Phoenix. Those are games in which they were favorites in 2 of them, and they lost outright here. So I'm going to go ahead and ride with a team that, you know, they have been up and down, I'll say that, but Giannis probably doesn't let this one slip. I'm going to lean Milwaukee here, -1 points, pretty much a pick 'em. And then in terms of a total at 228.5, I like the under as well. A lot of unders on the board today that I like. All right, Houston, 4-point favorites at home as they take on the Spurs here. Total is 228. I just feel like this Houston team is so unpredictable. These two teams played early December. San Antonio won 118-109. They were dogs in that game. But both these teams, you know, San Antonio's playing well at home. In their last 8 games here against the spread, they're 6-1-1 at home. Playing good basketball against the spread there at home. But, you know, this is just such a volatile game. You have injuries on both sides. You have two teams that just don't seem like they care all that much. So you guys might hate me for it, but I'm probably punting this game away. If anything, and I'm saying if, I like the under in this one, but that's like it. Like, I don't think this ultimately becomes a final play, so apologies for that, but I don't think that this one is a final play. All right, we got Phoenix, 9.5-point favorites at home, hosting the Lakers here. 229.5 is the total. Lakers coming off of a win against Washington yesterday, 119-117. Phoenix coming off of 2 straight wins to the Clippers, and then the Pelicans here. We're on the right side of that a couple nights ago against the Pelicans. Anthony Davis is out. This is a back-to-back spot. LeBron is not on the injury report, but I would not be surprised if he decides to sit it out. Jay Crowder still out for Phoenix. Devin Booker questionable. Cameron Payne out. DeAndre Ayton questionable. So keep an eye on those injuries there. I think 9.5 points is too much to give if LeBron plays. If LeBron plays, I'm going to lean the Lakers here. If he doesn't, I'm punting this game away like an NFL punter here because I don't love the spot. But I also do lean the under here. Another under that I lean. So, you know, if you're smart, you'll fade me. If you're a genius, you'll ride. It's an unders day today, guys. Kings, 10-point favorites updated to the graphics that you see here. 10-point favorites. Total is 239.5. These are two teams that don't play defense, but last time they played on Halloween, 115-108. So definitely stayed under this line here. The Charlotte here has hit the over in 6 of their last 10 games. They're not playing well against the spread like the Kings are. Kings are 6-3 in their last 9 against the spread here. Detroit, they were 5-point dogs, or sorry, Toronto, they were 5-point dogs. They win that game outright. Then they were 6.5-point closing favorites here against Detroit 3 nights ago, and they cover that one. So I'm gonna lean Sacramento in this one. I like Charlotte, but Terry Rozier is questionable. He hurt his hip last game. You know they've been dealing with injuries. They're coming off of the back-to-back last night in a 4-point loss. That was a close, tight-wired game. So I'm gonna go ahead and lean the double digits here. Hopefully we can get it at 9 if it moves back to. I'm gonna lean Sacramento and Charlotte, and then I'm also gonna look at the under in this one. That just seems like way too high of a total. So I'm gonna lean under 239.5. Maybe it's even moving towards 240 or something like that. We can get a better discount on it. But that is all I have for you guys today. Make sure you do like the video, hit that subscribe button. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.